week here at King Power Stadium off the pitch, but today this early kick-off represents a chance to concentrate on footballing matters as Charlton arrive here on Filbert Way. We are just under half an hour now away from kick-off at King Power Stadium, and welcome along to the Foxes Hub studio. I'm Dan Bates. We've got the same team as last week, although Jerry's out on comms this week. We've got Matt Elliott in the studio, Steve Howard in the studio.
You don't mean dream team?
The dream team in the studio. There is a change to the playing team. We'll come to that in a moment, but the dream team in the studio anyway, as you said. Hopefully we see a different outcome to what we saw a week ago on the pitch, but have you had a nice week anyway?
Had a great week. Not so much the weekend. I went to watch Newcastle on Sunday, but less said that the better, I think.
You were looking forward to that as well,
I was
weren't you?
indeed, yeah, but the game was terrible. So.
Yeah, in fact, this time exactly last week we were saying you had a really good, exciting weekend ahead. Hopefully Leicester win and Newcastle win. Neither of those happened.
No, so it didn't happen, but there was a free bar, so we did.
It's always good, isn't it? How are you, Matt?
Yeah, good, thank you. Had a mixed week, had a busy week one way or another, and what do I call it? The privilege, I suppose, of going to, that might not be the right word, John Robertson's funeral yesterday, which attended, as did a number of other people linked with the club, Birch, for instance, and Walshy, Martin O'Neill, Neil Lennon, and many others who attended. A wonderful man, an exceptional player, but a real character more than anything, and it was an honour to be there, to be fair. Although very sad at the same time. And looking forward to today. A lot's been happening at Leicester City as usual, but even more so than normal. And hopefully start of some sort of new beginning.
What a good send-off though.
Oh, for Robbo?
Yeah.
So, yeah, amazing. It was the longest service I've ever been to. It was in the crematorium for 2 hours, but half hour of that was waiting for things to commence, but an hour and a half. But it was all relative. It was all very interesting. You were absorbed in what you were hearing about, an amazing individual, really, in many ways. And lots of little laughs along the way, as you can imagine. Robert, for those people who knew John Robertson's character, he was a funny guy, and as well as a talented individual. But it must have been best part of 400 people there yesterday, and that tells its own story. And not just football-related people as well, people from all walks of life. Yeah. Says a lot.
Yeah, nicely put, Matt. Right, let's turn our attention then to today, and of course this week, in fact, Andy King, the first team coach, is taking the reins for the game today. The club parted company with Marti Cifuentes last Sunday following that defeat to Oxford United on Saturday. So to the team, Kingy makes one change to the side that lost out a week ago. Luke Thomas returns to the starting 11, replacing Yannick Vestergaard, who misses out altogether. It means Ben Nelson will return to centre-back. He'd been playing left-back for the previous couple of games. There's also a spot on the bench for Harry Winks as well. He's not featured since the defeat here against Sheffield United back in November. This is the team then. It's Stolarczyk in goal, Ricardo, Okoli, Nelson and Thomas across the back four. Chowdhury and Page in midfield with Fatawu, Cordova-Reid and Mavididi supporting Jordan Ayew. On the bench it's Begovic, Winks, Daka, Marsal, Monga, Silko Thomas, Brandon Cover, Olabade Aluko and a youngster Kevon Gray as well. Matt, I'll come to you firstly with the team news. Nelson returns to centre-back. That's probably a plus, isn't it? A positive. And Thomas comes in. No Yannick Vestergaard. So that's Andy King's first 11, if you like, as he's in as first-team coach at the minute. Yes.
Obviously, reading between the lines, I'm taking it that Vestergaard has an injury. I don't know. Is that the case? I don't know. But let's assume that is the scenario. So you don't know if things might have been different. Would Vestergaard have played? More than likely. So then there's a bit of a decision in terms of the fullback slot, isn't there? But largely, and I say somewhat unfortunately, really, that the team pretty much picks itself at the moment with the personnel situation as it is. There's a case for Daka and Ayew, depending on which way you see things. Obviously, Daka more often than not comes on for IU at some stage, quite regularly. We have to wait and see if that's the case. But not too much significant difference really in the lineup there. Hell of a lot of youth on the bench, which again, depending on how you look at it, is both a plus and could be a minus, you know, in some respects. But and then the conundrum of the Harry Winks situation. But regardless of the rights and wrongs of it, it's got to serve Leicester well, I think, that he's back in the squad, if not the starting lineup. You know, because he is a talented footballer. Let's get it right. So, yeah, listen. Hopefully a new beginning. Difficult job for Andy King. Stevie knows him a lot better than me, but the little bit I know about him, he seems to he's a safe pair of hands. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Like, he's a steady character, isn't he? But he's also pretty intelligent, Andy, and he's been not thrown in the deep end, but he's been put in a big situation. But I think he'll be more than capable of handling the pressure.
Yeah, you played with him, didn't you, for a number of years, Steve? What's he like as a character, and how do you think he'll do in this temporary role?
I mean, he was a young kid when he obviously came through. He was here for all of my career when I was here. But he's one of them guys who's, he came into the first team and obviously, he's a fantastic talented player he was, but he always had a bit of a level head on him. He was always, ahead of his years, I'd say. And obviously, I think I heard his press conference yesterday, and he comes across really well. And I think he's just, he's the type of lad who'll take this opportunity. He'll look at it and think, you know what, it's a free hit. It's I'm going to take it. Yes, he wants to be a manager in late years. This probably come a bit too early for him to manage Leicester, but it's a free hit for him, and I think Matt's right. The team picks itself high on, with Thomas on the left. I think it gives it a little bit more balance. But totally agree with Matt. It's IU or Daka, but I think picks it itself. So I think it's an easy thing for Kingy to say, that's the team that's moving forward. And we'll see how it goes. Just hopefully it does well.
Yeah, he did a brilliant job in pre-season, Matt, didn't he, Kingy, in the little period there before Marty came in, just in getting the group back and ready for pre-season, basically. We know he's now had this week as well with the group. He's obviously been in amongst the group all season, hasn't he, as first-team coach, but I guess with his voice being the main voice, as we can see here at training.
Yeah, I don't know the depths of what impact or effect he's had up to now, what influence he's been allowed to exert. But obviously, yeah, listen, he's the main man at this moment in time. He enjoys the coaching aspect of it. He puts himself, he comes across very well. And he has a sort of quiet air of confidence about him. When just how he carries himself, really, but how he talks as well, especially. And I think I've heard him speak about, the players can have so much support from the staff, etc. He's mentioned it this week, but they can they have to have pride and show pride in their performance themselves individually and as a group. And he sort of put the onus on the players a little bit, not to deflect from himself, but to say that, come on, boys, you've got to take responsibility here in this situation. And I like that. Yeah, exactly. It's not, namby-pamby or defending or protecting the players. But it's not criticising the players directly either. But he is saying to you, listen, we've got to stand up and be counted now, because no one else is going to do it for you other than the players.
Sorry.
And that's what's needed. And they'll take it, I think, off Andy King as well, because he's shown over a huge, long period of time that he has that pride in himself and that application, determination to forge the career he did for the length of time he did.
Sorry.
So it's someone who's speaking from a knowledgeable position. They should take it on board. Hopefully get a reaction.
It's funny, especially as well, because obviously he's been working with the younger lads throughout the time he's been here. And I think that'll be good. That'll stand him in good stead, because obviously they will respect him, like yourself, throughout his career, and they'll look up to him. And if they have to go into the first team, then you can advise them the best way you can. And obviously, because he's been dealing with them for 2-3 years he's been here.
Yeah, let's hear from him then. Kingy was speaking to the press, of course, this week ahead of this game with Charlton. Basically, Matt, you said the cue that I've written. He's emphasised the fact that he wants to put more onus on the players themselves to get something out of this team.
I think we've done a little bit of work with the lads this week about almost, lads, it's you guys who have to almost drive that, and that's not us as the coaches or manager, whoever's been throughout those times, like you said, almost pushing it onto the players, like you deal with it. But I think there has to be a certain pride amongst yourselves, which we've spoken about this week, of, listen lads, you're the teams, you're the ones who are getting judged, you're the ones who are in the club, you're the ones who can make what we're trying to give you work. So we can all give a game plan and tactical information, but ultimately, lads, it's down to you to actually go out and make their work. And be proud of that. Be proud of the team you want to be. Be proud of, I'm a player in this team and what it means to wear this shirt. And that has to come from the lads. So we've spoken a little bit about this week and maybe taking a little bit more ownership of that. It can't always be driven by staff all the time. And can the lads really sort of buy into that and drive that forward?
That was Kingy there speaking to the press. I think one thing you often hear in press conferences, Steve...
Can you call him Kingy now? He's the gaffer.
Well, yeah, good point. I think we're still going to call him Kingy.
Yeah?
It's still Kingy, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
You definitely
Yeah,
can.
I'll call him
Sometimes with press conferences, obviously, maybe you get a snippet, don't you, of what some conversations are said. They're probably always watered down. So to hear him saying that in the press makes you think, well, I wonder what level then he took it to actually in the dressing room.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I think he would have. I think he's gone into this game. Knowing King, like I know King, I think he's gone into this game thinking, I'm going to try and do it my way. You know, and I think fair play to him. He come across that in the press conference really well. You know, and he's obviously brought another coach in that he respects. So I think they're going to work, and I think that's, you know, him saying, you know what, if I'm going to have a crack at this, I'll do it my way.
Mm. Yeah, the return of Sads as well, Adam Sadler.
Yeah.
Matt to the fray is.
Well, he's a good character, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, big personality.
Are we allowed to call him Sads? Yeah.
Yeah, he's only assistant, isn't he? Or head coach, whatever he is. But he's a real nice fella, first and foremost, but huge enthusiast of coaching, isn't he? And football in general, isn't it?
Which obviously Kingy will have seen as a player.
Yeah,
himself.
yeah, exactly. He's had that experience. Some of these players would have known Sads anyway, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's not like going back to dark old times, or, you know, a return of the Lord Vader from the Death Star that Marshy used to call Martin O'Neill when he came out. But, you know, it's a positive return, isn't it? You know, like, oh, yeah, Sads, he was good about the place, good at what he does, and infectious character as well. And I think that's a good shout.
You need that sometimes. You need the big characters,
yeah,
especially when things aren't going the way you want them to do. You know, come in, you know, not the performance you want on a Saturday. You come in on Monday morning, you get people like him. You know, we've got to lift the place again, and I think that's a bit of a stroke of genius bringing.
Yeah, exactly.
Bringing him back, just a loud character.
His personality, isn't he? He's a funny bloke as well. But I mean, I don't want to. Not stereotypical, but sometimes, say, Cifuentes' backroom staff might not have that, you know, because, I don't know, language barriers, possibly a touch or whatever. You know, you can't be as expressive sometimes and lift the mood, etc. But, listen, on the face of it, it seems like as good a scenario as Leicester could hope for right now in terms of who's in charge in the short term, and we'll see how it develops. But the crux of what matters is how the performances go, isn't it? You know, the best will in the world is the players, as Andy has said, Kingy, that put the onus on them to go and perform, and his future lies in their hands.
Yeah. Do you think his job this week has been more just getting a good feeling back amongst the group? I think Sad's arriving clearly will do that, knowing that character. Maybe that's why he's been brought in as well for that. So the role, rather than any tactical work this week, it's more just been, let's get everyone feeling good about playing.
Yeah, and you know, and Matt will probably emphasise this as well. You play your best football when you're happy. You know, you're enjoying your life as a footballer. That's when you play your best stuff. So yeah, for him, you know, he maybe lightened it a little bit with obviously Sads coming in, and the mood might have lightened a bit, and everybody's like more relaxed to say, right, you know. And obviously, Kingy's comments are saying, obviously, it's back on the team, it's back onto you lads to produce and get this club where it needs to be. And and fighting for playoffs if they can. But I think today's it feels a bit different today. Okay. I think it feels a bit lighter. I don't know if that's just me or just the way everybody's speaking and everybody's looking forward to this game, which is in the past few games that I've done. I don't think you always had that bit heavy atmosphere.
Yeah.
So,
but you think as well that with Andy King being involved in the setup, he doesn't have to make drastic changes, but he could give a judgment or see from the outside of the inside, if that makes sense, and little bits that maybe he feels could be done differently, or that the players individually or as a group both could react to, or little bits. I'd like to see you make this run, or why don't you do this, or they've been
because it's funny because
they've been treated in a certain way, or whichever, and get the best out of them by he can assess the situation.
Because managers sometimes don't see that, do they?
No, exactly.
Because obviously the players talk to the coaches a lot more than the managers.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
With him being a coach, it might be
personal details, etc.
Right. Good point.
Lots of bits and pieces like that, and he can make just little adjustments, or he might know more about how the players are doing in their personal lives a little bit more than the manager, because Cifuentes had a lot on his plate. There's a lot to deal with as a manager of a big club like Leicester City. So, it's all like positive aspects that we're looking at that Andy King can bring to the equation. Yeah,
he had a good personal record as well against Charlton. He scored against them back in 2012 as well. I think that was just the summer that he just left Steve this. But anyway, he's classic King goal.
Classic King goal, yeah.
That's what he was so good at.
Yeah, I mean, he had a knack of just running at the box at the right time. The amount of times we played where I'd set it up and he was a third man running type thing, to slot the goals in. So he's he's a fantastic player, and his attitude was brilliant.
Yeah, nice goal for Andy King there against today's opponents, Charlton away back in 2012. Let's hear from the man himself again. He's been speaking about the game, particularly against the Addicts today, and he knows it'll be a tough test.
Yeah, I think Nathan Jones, we know what sort of team we're going to get from him. He's passionate. His team will play with aggression, fight, a directness. I actually played for his assistant as well, Curtis Fleming, when he was down at Bristol City, and I was there with him as well. So two really good, experienced coaches, know what it is to be successful. Obviously Nathan Jones with Luton, and then again with getting Charlton back into the league as well. So yeah, it'll be a really tough game. Like I say, physical, aggressive, clear game plan. So we've got to make sure we're ready to match that.
Just finally, Andy, what are the things you have to get right this weekend to ensure that you are able to come away with the result that you want?
I think from my point of view, the non-negotiables, running, like I've already said about pride to be representing this football club. We're actually going to show, well, we have spoken with the lads about some of the running data and stuff like that, and where that can be better. So I think they're the principles. Listen, we've had 3 or 4 days training. You can't change the world in that time, but I think we can certainly change maybe the mentality around it, and actually how much are we really, really willing to dig in and try and get the 3 points and move forward.
Just over 10 minutes to go here at King Power Stadium ahead of kickoff against Charlton Athletic this afternoon. The game available as ever here on Matchday Live on Fox's Hub. Basically, if you're anywhere outside of the UK, you can watch the action with us pretty much, anywhere outside the British Isles, basically. There are still international half-season game passes available for you, as well as match-by-match game passes available for £10 as well if you fancy watching the first game today, post Marty Cifuentes and the King temporary charge. At the moment, there are Listen Live monthly passes if you're here in the UK, as well if you want to listen to all the action. Jerry Taggart on co-commentary duty for us today. It is the end of the month. That means it is the last chance to win a 1992 retro shirt. Members and season ticket holders can win that by becoming a member. That's on the LCFC app, so head on to that if you want to win a 1992 retro shirt. Just a little bit before Matt Elliott's time, but not by too much. Speaking of running, Matt Elliott, you did your fair share, did you, as a player of the running?
No.
I didn't think you did. So I'll go to Steve instead on this question.
No, we couldn't.
No.
But it was mentioned there by Andy Kingy about the running data, basically, because a lot was sort of made about that, wasn't it? A couple of months ago, I think Marty himself said that because Leicester had the ball a lot, that's why the data was maybe looked as if Leicester hadn't run so much. But clearly, it's something that they have looked at, they want to address, and even is that just something for the supporters as well, so that as a fan, if you see everyone hurtling around, it looks better and it lifts the crowd as well.
It's interesting he brought that up actually. So I was just saying that there, but he's obviously identified that, and that's the same. He'll be the same as me, old school. If you're not doing well, and if you're not performing well on a pitch, just work hard. Yeah. At least you work hard. At least you can come off a pitch and say I've worked hard. I
always perform well, so I didn't have to work hard.
Well, I didn't have to work hard. I was working too hard. So, but I think that's that's a sort of philosophy he's trying to instill, to say, what, you've got the ability, just work hard, and match the two together, and we'll get some success.
Yeah, I mean, again, one player you would take that off as well is Andy King.
Yeah,
because
he ran.
He was a fiddle, wasn't he?
Yeah.
There's not an ounce on him even now. I don't like people like that.
I used to hate him in pre-season. In pre-season, he used to be the front.
Yeah, exactly. I can well imagine. I don't know, but I could.
Yeah.
But I would know. He'd be at the front. He's just relentless, isn't he? How he runs, and he used to have him in our group, like Robbie Savage could run all day. Muzzy, is it? I don't know about yourself, Steve, but we used to separate. The midfielders used to do different running to the attackers and defenders. Which was a bonus for us, because basically they had to run faster and further.
We all did the same. I was at the back.
Yeah, well, no, they changed it a bit. It was like a blessing, At least I came last by a less distance this time. But no, they'll take it off Andy. And again, he puts his point across sensibly. He's not damning in his appraisal or his verdict of or assessment of the situation. He doesn't ridicule individuals or even the group, but he'll put it across firmly. I like the way he speaks, and if I was a player, well, it doesn't matter what I think, but as a player, I can't help think that anyone would have anything but respect for what he says. Yeah,
very quickly, last point, Steve. Huge opportunity today to try and get the 3 points and to keep this mood and spirit the way that it is.
Absolutely. It's like I said, it's a free hit for Kingy. The lads come in, they can show, some fight and discipline and the performance that's needed, and I think the game's there to be taken today.
Yeah, we've got all the action coming up next here on Matchday Live on Fox's Hub. Jerry Taggart and Charlie McGuinness are our commentators for the first game with Andy King in temporary charge this afternoon. That's coming up next after a little explain of what is available to you on Fox's Hub and how you can find it.
If you are watching on lcfc.com, just sit back and relax. If you are watching on social media, the live stream will finish shortly. If you want to continue enjoying our coverage, you'll need to head over to lcfc.com/Fox's Hub and purchase one of our game passes. If you are watching in a territory where the game isn't live on TV, you'll be able to watch a live video stream on Fox's Hub. Please visit lcfc.com/territories to check. If you can't find your location, live audio commentary is still available. You'll need to have an lcfc.com account before you purchase your Game Pass. If you already have one, please sign in and select your product at lcfc.com/Fox's Hub. Select the Buy button and you'll be taken to the payment page. Once you've followed the simple payment steps, press Continue at the bottom of the screen and you'll be taken to the Fox's Hub homepage. If you purchased a video pass, please select Watch Live from the Fox's Hub drop-down menu. If you purchased a Listen Live pass, please select Listen Live. If you purchased a seasonal or monthly video pass and the game is not being shown in your territory, please select Listen Live. If you are having a payment or technical issue, please email Leicester TV Support at streamamg.com. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the match.
Good afternoon.